Hi guys, we're here, Blueberry Hill. So here we are. This is about January 29th to February 2007. We'll see. We did a bunch of stuff here. Right now, you see me pulling network cable, so I'm starting to get all the network stuff run through the entire house. I ended up buying 2,000 feet of 6A, Cat 6A, and I ended up using only one run of that. So we returned the other roll. But regardless. This is my office. I'm going to run all the control wires into this section on the right. You see all the cables piling in. That's not technically a closet, but it's going to be my little rack of probably ubiquity, dream machine kind of stuff, and a big switch. Here you see me putting the wire through on the chimney side to the TV. There's going to be either an access point plus some physical connections out here for the TV. I ran it in the game room over the ceiling, so I would stay away from all the power wires that you see across the bulkhead, kind of on the floor side, between the floors on the house. There's a bunch of wires there, so I didn't want to go anywhere near them, just to help with the EM stuff. But anyway, pretty straightforward stuff. Easy to run cables through the container house, because you can run it over the 2x and everything's good. But just pull and go. Pretty straightforward.
Hey guys, we're here, Blueberry Hill, so January 29th. I'm just playing a little bit. I'm doing running network cable. I think I just finished. This is all rough in. Here you see everything's a double, just in case one wire goes wonky. But for an access point for outside, that's going to service the outside pool area as well as probably the deck. And everything runs to my office, which has all the control stuff in it, or will. Here you see this is a spare bedroom in the middle containers beside Angie's office, and that's for TV and network. See whatever it is. Our offices were hardwired everything. That's where Angie's computer is going to be, etc. Everything's a double run, like I said. My office is basically the control center. This little cubby, it's not a closet because we didn't put a door, so it's just a cubby. It's going to have a rack, a switch, and probably the ubiquity dream machine pro thing, or a NAS server or something along those lines. Anyway, there's quite a few cables. Everything's double run, like I said. This is where all my computer stuff's going to go. So I have two sets of double drops for network, and of course I can always put a switch on it as well, but whatever. Put a few wires. They all run very easily to run the stuff, because everything goes through the ceiling, rafters, joists, whatever you want to call them, and then runs all through the house. The living room, I ran network cable to the right side of the fireplace. You can see the two lines there. There's going to be some kind of a platform on the wall that houses the TV and all the junk that goes with that. But all the network cable runs through the ceiling up there and down and through the roof attic right above my office. I didn't want to run it near these power lines. These are just temporary, by the way. You can see the tape, right? That's just temporary there. It's going to be a big header there to hide everything. But for the most part, everything was pretty simple. That's about it for network cable. The apartment has a run as well, but the main part is for the offices and our TV stuff. Here you see two network drops on the back wall there. That's for TV and maybe an access point. So we're going to go a little more with the ubiquity access point, because if they're very solid, very fast, very easy to do. So figured I'd do a majority of stuff would be with that. But that kind of sums it up. I'm going to use keystones to do all the network connections. They're just the right way to go, I think, because they're easier to, a little more of a solid connection than just an RJ45. I am using 6A Ethernet cable, so it's shielded. It's double shielded. It's got each individual pairs is wrapped, plus the whole thing is shielded, so should provide pretty good control for EM and that kind of stuff. I don't anticipate any real issues here because we don't have anything that's like a big generator or PA system or something like that. But anyway, that's about it. We're gonna relax a little bit. James is coming tomorrow, it's Sunday, and he's gonna wire up the thermostats. I didn't show you that part really. I've got 4 thermostat drops. One that's for each zone, you have to have a thermostat to control it. So that's one. Here's another one in the hallway. There's another one in the apartment. That's 2. This is 3. And then I have one upstairs in the game room on the other side of the fireplace wall. So that's what we're, 4 thermostats. They all work. 3 of them work on one zone controller, and one works on its own. And there you see it up there, the little brown wire. So he's gonna hook up thermostat to that temporarily, and then another one probably in the kitchen area or maybe down here in the hallway, so we could fire off the air conditioning units. And that'll be pretty exciting because we're gonna see them, you know, they're heat pumps. So if it gets a little chilly in here, we can fire them up and see if we can get some temp out of them. But anyway, all the ducts are run. We're ready to roll. You saw us do the bubble gas came by and did the propane tank install. You can see it out the window there. Yay! It's not full, of course. It's got a couple of gallons in there just to, I guess, for them to test it and stuff. But that's about it. So we're ready to kind of go. We're waiting on good weather for the spray foam. And once the good weather hits, we'll be all golden and we'll start spraying the kitchen and the bathrooms out. And then I'm going to start working on the pans for the showers. So get ready to put the floor in, and not the tile, but collect the water so we can get ready for the walls and stuff. But anyway, different story, different video. We'll talk at you later. Thanks for watching. Bye.
So trying to figure out what else to do. I decided to start building the front door and the side door. I'm actually making these out of, I believe it's maple plywood. Everything's gotten so expensive. I bought, you know, what I thought was kind of inexpensive, but these are $93 a board, which is, in my opinion, quite ridiculous. I've never paid that much for a plywood ever, any kind. So anyway, regardless of that, I bought 4 sheets to do 2 doors, and Angie's helped me screw everything together. We're using Tight Bond 3 glue, and then a bunch of 1-inch screws to go to the just sandwich the plywood, and that should do the trick. We ended up going this route because the doors are extremely expensive. If you get solid doors, you know, out of the world. If you get laminated doors, out of the world as well. Typical door, entry door. Our doors are the main entry door is 40 inches wide by 92.5 tall, and our side door is only 30 inches wide, 92.5 tall. So anyway, the price, we're saving thousands of dollars here by doing this ourselves, and we're going to do something a little bit off. We're going to use vinyl planking to cover both sides of the doors, and you'll see that in a minute. We decided to go that route because the dogs, they scratch the door to get out and in, etc. And it's kind of indestructible. It's waterproof. We're just going to glue it, laminate it down. We are going to cut some holes in the main door, which is on the right side here, 4 windows, and we decided to get E-glass, thermally protected glass, so insulated glass. We're waiting on that. They're about a week to 10 days for the order, so we don't have them. I will cut the holes, so you'll see that in a minute. But anyway, I'm edging everything. You'll see that that's with maple, solid maple. So James came over late in the day. Actually, it was dark, so it was kind of a little hard to do stuff. He was double checking all the wiring for the main floor zone controller, and he was going to actually use my thermostats, which are Amazon Smart thermostats. And unfortunately, they're Wi-Fi based. You have to actually program them to light them up, power them up. You activate them with Alexa on your phone or tablet, whatever, and make them work. We didn't do that this day. He used the equivalent. It's a Honeywell thermostat, actually. The Amazon is a Honeywell. He had one with battery operated stuff, so we plugged that in and lit stuff up and went through the process of making things work, including the dampers. And later on you'll see me talking about the damper. One of the dampers valves did not work. It had a very, very faint power lead on it. Luckily we had another valve right beside it. We swapped the wires, everything worked on that second one, so we think the valve is dead on the one of the dampers there. I have not heard from Amazon. I bought all these things from Amazon. It's a 12-inch damper. I'm not sure what I'm going to do because they say wait for 48 hours or something there. I haven't heard, so we're going to call them. The bad part is I don't want to pull the duct out, the damper out, because it's actually solidly put in there. I just want to change the motor out and see what happens. Anyway, here you see me doing a brown wire jumper that James stated we needed because we're using a heat pump. And there's some wiring stuff that these zone controllers don't quite do out of the box. So anyway, he told me to do it. I did it, and we're going to see how it lights things up. He's going to come back on, I believe it's the 10th or 9th of February, to actually do a live run of everything. So we'll get all the stats working and fire up the AC and the handlers. So that'll be fantastic. Can't wait for that. So this is January 31st. I went back to working on the doors. It's gotten a little bit colder, so you see me on a little sweater, etc. I'm using maple edging on each side of the door, and that's so you can put the hinges on it and stuff like that, just to make it look more legit. We are going to veneer vinyl plank these doors, and we're just going to paint the outside edges black. So we'll see how that goes. But anyway, I'm screwing these edges to the door to make everything nice and solid, and of course the hinges are going to go onto these things. I am using, I'll show you that later, but I have ball bearing hinges for heavy duty doors. These doors are quite heavy already. Once we put the vinyl planking on there, they're going to be significantly heavy. We're expecting, I'm betting the door is going to be 100-150 pounds at least, and the hinges, I already got them. They look really cool. They feel really smooth, and they're made for heavy doors. So we'll do 4 hinges per door, even though one of the doors probably technically would only require 3. But anyway, here you see me doing the edging. So I basically glued everything with the Titebond 3 glue, screwed everything to the door, to the plywood, and then I'm right there you see me kind of doing a fine sand with a belt sander to make it nice and smooth, plywood nice and smooth, and get ready for the edge banding. Pretty simple stuff. Just making everything nice and smooth so I can put all the pieces together. Of course, I did that on top and bottom as well, just to make it nice and tight. So here you see me leveling out the banding to the plywood. You got to be real smooth on this, or you're going to cut into the plywood. Not that it's important, because this isn't going to be seen. It's going to be, vinyl plank. But anyway, I'm taking my time to make it nice and smooth. I've done that before with actually nice wood, mahogany, and all those other things. But anyway, here you see me doing the height of the door. I clamped down an aluminum section so I can actually guide the saw and cut the excess off on the plywood. So the doors are 92.5 physically, and of course the rough opening is 94-ish, 94.5. And I didn't show you this, but I actually made the trim for the door. I'll show you that later, but it's out of a 5.5 inch by 3/4 inch fir, and then I used a 4 inch by 3/4 inch, which I cut a little dado out of so I could put the weather stripping in. I'll show you that later when we're putting the actual frame of the door together. That's a common practice for door trim, and I was just following suit. So here's me doing more leveling, etc. I believe this is a smaller door, so that was pretty easy. Now I transitioned into doing the planking. So we picked kind of a rich looking vinyl plank. This was kind of an easy solution for us. We were just kind of farting around and decided that dogs can't scratch this stuff. So we said, why don't we put it on the doors, and here we go. So this is the smaller door. I started with the outside. I measured from the center of the door out, so we trimmed the outside to make it look more uniform. And I'm using a Roberts 7350 glue that's meant for kind of a universal vinyl floor planking and other wood product applications, etc. The glue's pretty cool. It stays very pliable for as long as you need to. And this is all click and groove kind of vinyl planking. It goes together quite easily, very smoothly. You can use a hammer to kind of guide it into place when you need to, but You know, I took my time. I did one section at a time. It's 7 1/4 inch or 7 1/8 inch wide, the visible stuff. So I just started putting it together. Click and go. So the glue itself, they recommend 24 to 48 hours drying time. So I did one side on this door, and then Angie and I started working on the big door, and we just let this set up for a whole day, and then I trimmed it out and flipped it over and did the other side. Pretty, I think, straightforward application. I have a little, some use kind of a little roller thing. That's actually a glue applicator. I use that to put the glue on the plywood when I'm spreading it, clean it up, and then I use it as a pressure thing. I didn't want to buy a whole roller for vinyl just for that, so kind of manhandled it and pressed all the glue. I'm using a trowel, which is actually 1/8 of an inch height. The glue recommendations are a 1/16. I couldn't find a 1/16 trowel to save my life, so 1/8, and I just bend it over a little more of an angle to get roughly a 1/16 of an inch glue application. And this is kind of like putting tile down. You want the grooves so that the glue spreads when you put the vinyl down and get the air out of it. So it's quite important to do that properly. You can't just smear glue on there and have it set up. So the grooves are quite important, and so you don't get over glued and too much glue would squeeze out. Anyway, there it is. So to cut the excess stuff off, I just use a router with a proper bit, ball bearing bit. Runs on the outside of the door, and it makes a perfect cut, flush with the maple, and off you go. And later on, we're going to sand this down. Once all the glue sets real good, everything's ready to roll, we'll sand it down real nice. Here you see me doing the 4 windows that we have. We're going to put insulated windows into. This is the main entry door. We might actually put some kind of film on there so you can't like peek into the house, although we have enough windows so you can peek into the house, so probably won't matter. But anyway, kind of a plunge cut out the saw. I love the wireless saws. The D-wall stuff's pretty nice. I do enjoy that. And then a little bit of a jigsaw work to get the rest of it cut. You don't see the marks, but I marked everything out real nice, and plunged the saw just where I needed it, and the rest was done with the jigsaw. So pretty easy stuff. Just take your time doing this kind of work. You got to be careful plunging saw down because you don't want a kickback of any kind. And luckily, plywood's kind of smooth, soft. No surprises. So it shouldn't flash back on you, but you never know. Hey guys, VTech here, Blueberry Hill. So here we are. We're working on the doors. You saw me doing the laminate. We decided to reduce the cost a little bit. Sorry for the noise. It's raining pretty good. So I'm working in the shop. This is our entry door. It's 40 inches by 8 feet tall, roughly 94 inches. The door height itself is 92 and a half. Frame is 94, whatever. And then you saw me doing the laminate on the door. We decided to go that route because it's going to be pretty much indestructible, we hope. And I really dig in what we actually selected. I mean, I already showed you guys on the time lapse, but we're loving this. This is the first glue down. It says 24 hours for letting it cure, so I'm going to leave one side done. I ordered insulated glass for the door. They're all taking a long time to get, so we're going to get this probably in about 10 days. But regardless, I'm going to continue and put the laminate on the one side. I'm going to just sheet it right over, and then we're going to take the router and clean up the edges like I did on the outside of that door. Anyway, it's going pretty good, I think. Hopefully everything's going to be legit, and it's going to work out just fine. Anyway, back to time lapse. By the way, we're expecting 3-4 days of very cold weather, about 20 degrees. Not too much is going to get done on the house, I don't think. But I did reprogram the Amazon smart thermostats today. I have 4 of them for the 5 zones that they control, and we'll see how that flies. But anyway, they're programmed, they're ready to roll, and then on the 7th, James is coming back to fire up the entire system and run it through its paces. We got one of the zone controllers and all the things checked out, but we didn't fire up the AC the other day. But anyway, we're getting close.
Anyway, appreciate you watching. We're going to switch the time lapse again and continue on the door. Later.
So here I am doing, this is the big door. So measured again from the center out. So all the planks look uniform across the whole door. You don't want to start with a full plank and end up with a 2-inch piece on the end. So you start from the middle, work your way out. Again, they're roughly 7 1/4 inch wide. So I had to cut a couple of those pieces in half, like you saw me do right there. And I put the first one on, and then I start piling them together, click and go, and pretty easy stuff. Again, I took my time, no rush. You know, when you do floors, I guess you can do a giant section with glue. I wasn't into that, just to make things nice and clean. The glue is very sticky, so even though it takes a while to dry, once you get it on your hands and whatever, it starts setting up pretty good, and everything gets sticky quick. So it does wash off with water, so that was great. But regardless, just trying to stay clean and easy. I'm using the trowel right against the edge of the vinyl I already put down, and just to make it, you see the grooves right there. I grooved on the edge to the outside, made sure basically 100% coverage with the grooves. You can't put, again, the glue, you can't just saturate with glue. You have to have the grooves to let the air out. And here I go. I don't care about the holes. I'm just going to cover the whole thing. And the door was 92.5, so 2 of these planks from the top to bottom cover that. And then when I offset the wood, because you don't want the planks to be, you know, all the edges to be in the same place. So marked it at center, and then cut 2 pieces on each end, and everything kind of matched up. The doors look very uniform, and I mean, when it's done, it looks really nice. I'm pretty impressed with this vinyl stuff. Not like the old vinyl in the old days, but anyway, we like the look. It's kind of a oaky, whatever, alder, kind of cedary look, whatever this stuff was. But anyway, Lumber Liquidators, we got it. We got stuff that was actually on sale, so that was fantastic. 8 boxes to do 3 doors, and I'll be doing the garage door, entry door into the house the same way in a future episode.
Well, there it is, folks. So that door's done. Well, one side of each door. These are 2 doors. The big one's the entry door. Instead of buying it for $3,000 to $4,000 or $5,000, whatever, decided to make them. 2 sheets of ply, like you saw. It's maple ply, I believe. I got maple edging on the outsides, not the top and bottom. Don't need it. That's for hinges and all that fun stuff, just to make the grain look consistent. Again, 40-inch by 8 foot roughly, and then the other one's a 30-inch by 8 foot. The 8 foot, the 30-inch is not going to have a window. We're putting 4 windows, insulated glass in the main entry door. You saw the holes I was cutting out, kind of a four pattern, roughly about this high. There's the first set, and the second set's up there. And that's just to get some light into the hallway for the entry. Anyway, we'll see how that goes. We ordered the glass. It's supposed to be 10 days-ish. Didn't matter where I ordered it, locally or online. It was the same time span, so I decided to do it myself online through a distribution site that has insulated glass. Hey, what do you know? What do you know? Anyway, the weather's turning pretty foul. Let me walk you out there. We're expecting 20-degree weather. I mean, I know it's not much for people up north, but anyway, it's getting cold. It's probably in the 40s right now. No big deal, right? Got a little fire going. Right there. There it is. Keep warm. Angie just went inside. She said it was too cold for her, but I'll see if I can get her out here and have a beer or something and call it good for today. Oh, there you go. See my breath. So it's dipping down. It's 70%, 80% chance of rain today, so it is here. We'll see what happens in the next couple of days. A lot of stuff's happening early next week. We've got the septic coming, the actual septic tanks, and then the same day, James is coming over on the 7th to do a fire up on all the AC stuff. Like I mentioned earlier, I did all the thermostat pre-setting, so I have 4 thermostats to control all the zones in the house. I was a little bit ignorant on how that stuff works. It's each damper goes to a zone, and then each zone has to have a thermostat as a sensor to tell it what to do. So we have a 3-zone on the bottom side, main floor, and then basically a 1-zone on the game room. And one of the dampers is broken. I I bought it off Amazon, so I popped them a note. Have not heard back yet. Anyway, it's busted. The motor won't work. There's a very faint light that's saying it's alive, but it's not moving. So we'll see if we can get that replaced. Just the motor part. I don't want to replug the whole duct. That'd be a major pain. Anyway, we'll see where that goes. But so far so good. And we'll see what we do next. Anyway, appreciate you watching. Ciao. Later.
So here I'm going to router out the, this is a small door. I'm just routering off the edges. I did the application the night before. It's all set up now, so I'm just routering out the edges, making things nice and smooth. It's very, very straightforward to do this. The right bit, the router, and off it goes. Next I'll move on to the big door with the windows, excuse me. And here you see me marking up the where the planks are going to go. I did that just so I could put glue in the right places and not get crazy and messy. So pretty simple process. Took my time. You saw me ripping down one of the planks, two of the planks, and don't waste nothing. Well, I ripped it right in half, and one will go on the left side and one will go on the right side of the door. And I didn't use as much as I thought it would. So pretty cool. I really like using this stuff. It goes together really easily. So hopefully it's isn't too tedious, but you know, trowel, glue, put the planks down, and they click together. And when they don't click together, I have a dead blow hammer. It's one of those orange ones. Yeah, right there. Just to bang them together. And I didn't care about damaging the edges because the edges get cut off. So I did break a few parts like that on the very edge. Didn't care. Just leave enough to make sure I can hammer on it. If you're putting a floor down, they have the different tools for that. So I didn't have the tools. I just have the hammer and a knife. Actually, it's also pretty easy to cut the stuff. You basically just score the vinyl and then break it over the edge of the door or whatever. All you need to do is score the top vinyl part and it'll break right on the line where you cut it. So pretty neat. The stuff went together very nicely. All the connections are nice and tight. I mean, there's no room in there in the joints at all. So they've done a really nice job on doing these the planking setup. So, and we did look at they have a huge variety of the planking. You can spend, you know, $4 or $5 a foot or $2. This stuff I think cost us something like it was on sale, Lumber Liquidators, whatever. I think it was like $170 a foot, something like that. Not too bad. So it was only a couple $100 to do the two doors, actually the three doors. I don't have enough plywood to do the garage door into the house. We're going to do that as well because that's a big door also. I kind of forgot about that. I did buy enough hinges for that. I just didn't buy enough plywood to make the third door. So got to go back to the lumber, find lumber and get some more of that stuff. Basically making the equivalent door to this. So this door is almost done. I'm gonna, next few seconds here, you'll see me routering it out. I waited about 3-4 hours for the glue to set. It takes about an hour for it to set pretty good. And I decided to trim it ahead of time, no big deal. To trim where the windows are, you just kind of drill a hole in there and then plunge the router in there and off it goes. You'll see that in a second here. But anyway, appreciate you guys watching. Thanks for staying tuned with the channel. Next online will be septic install and more fun. Appreciate the support, and we'll talk at you later. Enjoy.